How many scripts did you write before beginning on your feature film for Danger One?
How many feature scripts?
Or
Well, I didn't write any. It's not something that I think I've become pretty good at working with writers. But if I had to actually sit down and write a script, I could get very frustrated. But oh my God, it was many. I mean, I graduated in '06, and I only got this movie made. We shot it in 2016, so for 10 years, it was probably like a dozen, you know. Probably a little bit more over the last few years because you're working with more people, but yeah, it was probably a dozen.
That's interesting. So you say you wouldn't be able to do one, or maybe be too frustrating. Do you like to sort of be hands-on and moving around? Is that sort of more your style?
No, I just don't think I don't think I would know how to even get started on. Like I'm very good at structure and stuff, and a lot of the stuff that I have turned into scripts with writers and friends is stuff that I originated. So I think just writing a treatment or even outlining stuff, I can do that. But once it actually comes down to like opening final draft and starting to create scenes and stuff, I feel like I'd be kind of lost. I like when someone writes it and I get it and I read it and I can do notes on it, just because there's something concrete on the page. It's a lot easier for me to go in and see what works and what doesn't. But I probably just, because I pretty much doubt everything that I put on the page if I did it myself. Yeah, it's just not. And it's good that I'm aware of it, because I feel like my time is spent better doing other things. And usually what I do is when a writer works on the actual script, I go off and do either rip-o-matics or even shoot a full-on sizzle, because that's what I'm good at. That's where I'm confident doing that stuff. So kind of like those two things happen, at the same time. So by the time the script is locked, we also have a full sizzle reel that we can go out and pitch it and show people what this is going to be like, which is also how we got Danger One made, actually. It was like a 3-minute sizzle reel. We shot the whole thing, and it just kind of showed people what the tone would be. And it's not even, some of them feel like trailers. This one was just more kind of like a short film, like a scene that wasn't even in the script, but that kind of took place in the same world. And it just kind of gave people a feel of when they read the script, this is what it's going to feel like and sound like and look like.
I want to go back to that world because I want to hear about the ambulance and how you were able to create all that. But I wanted to touch on one thing, and you said you would doubt something and not be able to maybe move forward. Do you think that's almost a blessing in some sense, because it forces you to make something perfect? Those people that they kind of think, oh no, this is great, and they don't question it. They just think, because I did it, it's great. But people that question things, often turns out their work sometimes turns out better.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely a perfectionist, which is a blessing and a curse, because you have a hard time letting go of things. You start like micromanaging stuff and obsessing over the little things. No, I mean, it's hard to describe. It's just like, I feel if I had a blank page in front of me, and I can type up a scene, but I wouldn't be, while I can take someone else's script and know if this works or it doesn't, I don't think I could say the same thing if I wrote it. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just my brain doesn't work like that.
Are you always anticipating the next step?
In what?
In whether it's being on set, whether it's finding a writer to collaborate with. Do you find that about yourself?
That I think ahead and yeah. I mean, I mean, that's probably my upbringing too. It's just us Swiss people, we like to plan. We're very organized people.
Sure.
We love making plans. I'm a list guy. I make lists. I make lists about lists.
Nice. I like that.
So yeah, no, I definitely. And you plan, and then obviously things don't always go according to plan. But having a plan it's comforting, because you get anxious when it's funny, because a set for someone with like my personality is really the worst place to be on, because I'm a very structured person. I like when things are organized. and planned, and that's sort of the opposite of a movie set. And I know they say a movie set is organized chaos, but on a movie set, everything can go wrong, and oftentimes it does. So if you really think about it, that for me is a place where I should just drown in anxiety. But I think the reason I do like it and actually I get scared, obviously. I think most people do before the shoot. Not scared, but just, I guess you get a little scared because things can go wrong. But like the reason you crave it again is it's because it feels like a bit like an adventure. It's like jumping out off a bridge with a you bungee jumping or jumping out of a plane. It just pulls you out of your comfort zone. And it kind of, this might sound silly, but like, when it becomes that little adventure, it kind of feels like you're just very alive. You know what I mean? Like those are the moments that you remember. That just getting pulled out of that comfort zone where everything could go wrong. It's just it's a bit of a rush. It's like an adrenaline thing almost. So like the second it's over and I tell myself, wow, I'm relieved that we got this done. I kind of start craving to be on a set again where everything could go totally wrong. And I think it's just the excitement.
Well, I know we were talking about that setting up and just sort of the contrast of, and I brought this up, just the LA world of, keeping everything loose and we'll see. And if we'll start at this time, even though we said we're going to do this time, and versus being very precise and how that is hard to, whether you come from another state or another country that is more precise in some ways, it can be interesting to navigate because that's the culture here. And it is hard for people that or even from California, but they're not from LA, to navigate. So.
Well, and you, I've been here now since 2000. You don't get used to it, It's
right.
Like emails not getting a response in an email, not getting calls back. It's sort of the norm in this town. But no, it drives me crazy. I like structure when it comes to these things, and I honestly feel. A lot more would actually get, like this town could be so much more efficient if it was a little bit more, structured and I get it, people don't have, I think a lot of things probably just fall through the cracks because there's so much going on and people, you take a bit of a shotgun approach where everyone works on a million different things so you can't really, things start falling through the cracks. You can't really dedicate your time equally on all these things, but no, it's I don't think I'm gonna get used to it, But I do my best. I try to operate like that.
Yeah, I'm wondering how do you go into a situation that knowing that you are structured, and that's great, and I think it has a lot of pluses to it being so structured, but then you may be dealing with others that aren't, and that's part of their creative process, and how do you make that work?
Well, and I think that's the scariest thing about doing a movie. It's because in the end, there's still 100. We had how many people working on this movie? 160 people on this small movie, and it doesn't matter how organized you are. There's going to be other people in there who that will will do great things, but also make mistakes. And you're really only. That's why they always say you're really only as good as the people you work with. I think that's why people in this town, once they've got kind of like found their crew, their gang, they stick with them because they know what they're getting and that things get done. But that's just how things go. You just have to jump in and hope for the best and do your best. Like if even when like it's not a reason for me to say, well, I probably don't have to be that organized just because things will go wrong anyway. I do my best and then hope for the best. Yeah.